So you're ready to add Instagram to your content strategy, but you're not sure where to begin, and maybe you're a little bit embarrassed that you're late to the Instagram party. Don't worry, I've got you covered in this video. We're gonna go basics 101 of Instagram and all the ways that you can post to the platform. Let's get going. Hey guys, I'm Gwendolyn. I'm the content creator's best friend. I'm here to simplify content creation for you so that you can get back to what's most important in your business. Today we're talking all about Instagram, and if you are just starting on Instagram, you may not break the internet like Jen Aniston did when she first started her Instagram account, but that doesn't mean you can't make a big splash. This video is gonna help you learn all the ways that you can post there and how to optimize your account. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so that you can be the first to see what I've got coming out for you next. If you're ready to get going on your Instagram account, or maybe you already created it, let me know in the comments below where I can follow you. Just drop your handle and I'll give you a nice little follow on Instagram. So first, let's talk about the Instagram feed. Now, this is what everyone sees as soon as they come to your profile. There are several different things that you can put on your Instagram feed. The most obvious post for Instagram would be a picture. Once you've selected your picture, you can put it on your feed, but it's not the only way you can post to your feed. You can also post carousels, and this is something I do a lot in my personal account, and that's because I have kids, and sometimes, one picture just doesn't work with kids, right? So I have carousels a lot on my personal feed. One picture or multiple pictures, you can put up to 10 there, and that would just be a carousel where people can swipe to the next picture. You can also post 60-second videos into your feed. So anything under 60 seconds will play full on in your feed. Once you decide to upload a video, and maybe it's a little longer than 60 seconds, you can select which part of the video you want to see there. So you can do a little bit of editing. It's very rudimentary. It's not great editing inside the app. So I would recommend editing your video to 60 seconds before you upload it to your feed. But in the same vein that you have with carousels with your photos, you can upload multiple pieces of your video, which would give you up to 10 minutes. So you could do 60 seconds, swipe right, get more, 60 seconds more. So you can make a carousel video, which would mean that people would definitely have to interact with the video, which may be a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something that you could try if you want to have a longer video on your feed. Another way to post videos onto your feed is through IGTV. Now, IGTV is one of the most underutilized tools on Instagram, and it's so powerful. It's so great. We're going to talk all about IGTV, but how it looks on your feed is when you get an IGTV uploaded to your IGTV account, you can get a little trailer of sorts put onto your feed. So that's going to be the first 60 seconds of your IGTV is going to show up in your feed. And then people who want to see more, they can click the button at the bottom of the feed that's going to pop up, and they can see the whole IGTV from there. I'm going to go into how to optimize your IGTV for your feed in a little bit, but first of all, you want to know about patterns. So with all these options for your feed, keep in mind the visual of your profile. So your profile is going to see about 9 posts at a time. So that's 3 across and 3 down, and they're all cubes. For my business account, you can go see it. It's at Simplified Social Video on Instagram. I go from a black and white quote to a picture of me. And then I have this little checkerboard that I have going. But there's lots of different patterns that you can have on your feed. If this is something that slows you down from creating because you're thinking of the bigger picture and you're just not sure where to start, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That is something that you can easily change in the future. That's the beautiful thing of Instagram. If you're posting every day, you can easily change it because the first 9 are really all that people see unless they're scrolling for a long time. And you can change up the pattern anytime you want, which is also great. So you have 9 pictures and then you want to change it up and do something else, or you want a whole line of pictures that are one color. There's so many great ways to make and customize your feed for your audience. A great app to give you an idea of what your feed's gonna look like is with Planoly. It's Planoly. It's Planoly. It can give you an idea of what your feed's gonna look like and also help you schedule your posts. There's also an app called Preview that you could use. You have lots of options. I would just go to Google or your app store because there's lots of apps that you can use to plan out your feed. But ultimately, you have options, or you can even just plug it into your Canva and just kind of get an idea of what kind of structure you want your feed to look like. Next, you can post stories. Stories are the most engaging part of Instagram, and that's because there's video, there's polls, there's questions. There's so many ways to engage with your audience with stories, and it's so much more engaging than a post will be. If you're like me, I actually spend more time on my stories than I do flipping through this feed when I'm on Instagram. And a lot of people are like me, so don't ignore stories. If you have trouble with stories or you're not sure how to use stories, I actually have a free stories course that you can go through and learn all the ways that you can integrate different polls and how to put captions. All the things that you need to know about stories is in the description below. All you need to know about stories today, just to get started, is that I want you to play with stories. No matter what you do on stories, it can be deleted. So you don't even have to post it, but I would encourage you to do 3 things on stories. Number 1, learn how to post a picture on stories. And this can be a graphic that you create on Canva. Canva has templates already made for Instagram stories. Whatever it is, post a picture and then add additions to it. And maybe that's a GIF or a sticker of some sort, or maybe it's a poll. Add something to that picture. Secondly, I want you to make a video. So record yourself in a 15-second increment. So don't go over 4, but I would recommend doing 1 at first and then seeing if you can handle making a 15-second video. It's harder than you think. Just pay attention to how long they are because you will be cut off in stories. After you've created that video, go ahead and do the same thing that you did with your picture and add something to it. Add a caption. Make sure that it doesn't have to be word for word, but if you could caption what you are saying in the video, most people in stories are watching without the sound on. So always, if you're doing a video, put the caption in there of just what you're talking about in that video. And lastly, I want you to post into your stories something that is engaging. So something like a poll is the best way to do it because there's only 2 options with a poll, but you could do a quiz. There's so many ways to have your audience engaging with you, but test your engagement with a little bit of some kind of engaging post. Something else you need to know about stories is they disappear after 24 hours. So the best way to save your valuable content that you're creating for stories, hopefully daily, is to save them in highlights. This is a really simple process. It's inside the course that I have below. Highlights are super easy. You're just gonna hit a little save to highlights and it's gonna ask you where you wanna save it. This is all in the bottom after you've created the video. You can either do this before you post or you can do it after you post. So as long as it's within that 24-hour time frame, you're not going to lose it. You can save it to a story. You can even organize the stories later, but there's plenty of ways. And I encourage you to start thinking about what kind of content you want to create for your stories and then start creating the highlights ahead of time. And then you'll be able to just drop it in the right folder of your highlights. Let's move on to live. So when you go in to do a story and you hit your face or you hit the camera that's in your feed and you go in there to do a story, you can also go in and hit the live button. Now, lives are really similar to Facebook. So if you're new to Instagram but you've been using Facebook Lives, it's going to be really very much the same. You can see comments as they're coming in. You can see people as they arrive. Something that you have to remember before you end your live is that you need to save it if you want to save it. So these are things that disappear in 24 hours, whereas on Facebook, it takes 70 posts to push it down into the feed. That's not the case with Instagram. So if it is valuable content that you want to keep, then you're going to want to make sure that you save it before you post it. So after you're live, in which it will be live, so it's not like something you have to post. It's just something that you want to keep on your feed for 24 hours. Before that happens, there's a button at the top right that says save, and make sure you do that before you get off. Lives are going to be great content for you, and I encourage you to go live because on this platform, anyone who's currently using the platform will get a notification that you are going live, just like Facebook. But if they are just jumping on and you are going live and they didn't get the notification that you're going live, there will be in their stories feed, which is the very first thing that they see, they'll see that you're live right now. So it is a super powerful way to reach your audience while they're on the platform. Let's talk about IGTV, okay? It is so underutilized, but it's so powerful. Why? Because it's a way for you to repurpose content from something like Facebook or YouTube. It's also a way to reach your audience from your feed, which is fantastic. You can also use it as a tool to link things if you're under 10,000 subscribers or followers. What that means, if you don't already know, in the stories option, you can have a swipe up once you get to 10,000 followers. Don't worry if you don't have that yet, that's okay. You can still have a swipe up as long as it's to an IGTV, which means you can have mini commercials for the things you want to swipe up to, or you can have a stagnant photo as long as it's 60 seconds long and upload it as an IGTV, and you can have the swipe up file. So like I said, these little trailers for your videos can be uploaded to your feed, which is fantastic. And if you're worried about the pattern being messed up because of your IGTV, don't worry about that. Just put a thumbnail, like you would on YouTube, put a thumbnail at the end of the video, and you can select what part of the video you want to be seen on your feed. So all you're gonna do is swipe all the way to the back of the video, and that's gonna be what people see. So those are all the ways that you can post on Instagram, but I'm gonna recommend that you use a scheduler. There's lots of options out there. You can use Buffer, you can use Promo Republic, Later. There's so many options for this so that you can schedule them out so you don't physically have to post it, right? It's something that's already scheduled and you can have a life and not have to worry about it. But I would recommend trying, if you haven't tried anything before, go into Facebook and use Creator Studio. Creator Studio is a free option to you, and you can schedule posts for Facebook and Instagram. You can also see how many hashtags you have left as you're filling out your description. You can see how long your description has left. You can schedule it 6 months in advance so you can get all your Instagram posts out there and ready and scheduled and not have to think about it for a while. If you have more questions about Instagram, don't worry, don't feel embarrassed. It's an ever-changing platform, let me just tell you, aren't they all, right? So if you have questions, let me know in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments below where I can follow you on Instagram so I can support your feed. And go ahead and get going on that stories course because it's free and it's gonna help you learn how to utilize all the pieces of stories on Instagram. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.